So at this point, we advanced a lot, okay? Now, I'm going to also prepare one of the power cords. Remember, on the bill of materials, there were two power cords, one for the PLC trainer, the other one for the output trainer. We're going to cut the end, which is not interesting for us, like this. We don't need that. Instead, we need to split the two wires together, like that. Since this one does not make a distinction between neutral and the line, we are going to put both of them the same way. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So, like we did before, we strip it out on both sides. We twist a bit the stranded wire because we don't want whiskers. And we just need to do the same operation as before with our nice crimping tool. We're going to place the spade right here. We're going to put the wires one by one inside. If they don't enter the first attempt, is because we may have some whiskers. So we're going to fix this. This one may happen to each of us, okay? So once we fix that little problem with the whiskers, we're going to be able to place the spade back in the tool, and then our power cord is ready, okay? So we have a power cord which is well done, okay? This is going to be attached to the PLC. And by the way, this power cord is going to have here another plastic lamp when we put the PLC. So now we have the wires prepared to be placed on the PLC on one side. We have some wires prepared for the common and for the outputs. So we're ready to go for the next step, which is to pick up our PLC, which is this one. We have to remove the label because all of them, they come like that when they are brand new. But the label does not allow the right cooling, so we have to remove it. This is going to allow us to place the PLC on the power rail. So let's see how it's going. It's gonna go like this. So we leave it here in position, and now we push the lever so it won't come out, okay? Once this thing is done, now before we are able to explain how the wiring is gonna be done, this from here is going to go to the common of the inputs, because the sensor is an input, and the common of the inputs has one leg here where it says common, and it has to come on the negative 24 volts delivered from inside the PLC, exactly on that purpose for the inputs. So how are we going to do this? It's going to be another wire already prepared. So I'm going to strip this one as well, and placing here a little spade. Like this. So this is going to come exactly on the common. As you notice, the line voltage, the neutral and the common are both in the bottom. So I'm picking up the screwdriver, so are all here in the bottom. This one is going to go down like this, and it has to reach the negative exactly on this, okay? So we're going to need to strip it out and placing another spade at the other side, okay? If it doesn't work, it's because we have some whiskers. We fix the problem. Now it's working fine. We squeeze, we have it done. Okay. So on this one here in the bottom, which is the negative, we're going to have one wire coming from the common of the inputs, and the second wire, which will be the one negative from the sensor. So this one, I left it like that because I wanted to know how long should this wire be. So something like this. So then I can cut it a bit shorter. Now we strip it out, we twist, and then we place another spade at the end of it, because this has to come together with the common of the inputs right here. So both are going to come here. Right now I'm going to use the screwdriver. Remember, one of the reasons I like the PLC is because you pick up any screwdriver we have at hand, and the most of them are going to work fine. Okay? So now the common is in place. Another thing we have to do, which is another kind of common, is the common of the switches, the famous long orange wire. This is why we can identify, so there is no confusion with the other orange wire right here, because this one is going to go on the inputs of the PLC, and this is going to be the positive, the common of the switches, going to the positive, which is right here in the top, as specified on the cover. Okay? What else is coming here on the positive? The brown wire from the sensor. So for the brown wire, we're going to do similar as we did for the blue. We find out how long does it need to be. So it needs to be something like that. Okay? So I just need to cut the remaining, and then we're going to place another spade on it. So we did this operation many times, so now it's going like a charm. Everything is very easy. So here, together with this, we have to join that one. So for this one, because we never want to be wrong, we're gonna leave it just a bit longer to have a reserve. Okay, we're going to see later what to do with the excess, but anyway, you cannot cut it 2 times. Okay, so you have to cut it well from the beginning. Now this is a bit more delicate, because as you can see here is a very thin wire. Okay, so for this one, you are going to pick up the smallest possible ferrule you have. Just wait a second, I'm coming back with it. Okay, so I have it right here. That's a very, very small ferrule. Okay, use the smallest one you have, and then you place it in the crimping tool and you squeeze. Okay, once you do, you cut the excess, and this one is going to now come together with the brown wire right here where is the negative. So by doing this, both are going to be joined together, this one and the common of the switches. So you have to be careful. You don't want your screw to fall down, but you want both of them to be very well squeezed here by the screw. Okay, so let's find out how do we do it right. Now it's done. Okay, so we have this part done. Now it's a bit tricky because these 2 contacts here for positive and negative are actually regarding the inputs, and the rest of the contacts here, the rest of the screws, they are regarding the outputs. So in the bottom you can see 1, 2, 3, and then 1 before the last but only on the row in the bottom, these are going to be for the common of the outputs. So 1, 2, 3 here, and 1 for the last. For this, we prepared some short wires, and these are going to be the ones we're going to place. So right now, we prepare our PLC to have the outputs connected together. So this is going to be for the second. It's going to join this one, like that. So because there were 1, 2, and now is the third one here, this one is going to be absolutely similar way. We make room for it, and we also have to make room for the next one, and this one is going to come right here together with the previous. So these are also called jumpers. Okay, one before the end is going to be this one, and here we're going to join the remaining one we prepared already only on one side. Is going to come together with it, this one. And guess what? Later on, this one is going to come right here on that particular screw, which is the number 16, because it has to match where we're going to connect the flat cable. Because it's in the top here, we're going to leave it aside because we have to figure out first the ones in the bottom. However, if we feel the need, we can still have it done, prepared. Now this time we cannot put spades because in this kind of holes we can only put the ferrules. So we're going to pick up from here some ferrules. Let's see if this one is good enough. It's perfect. So we prepare it by placing a ferrule on it. We squeeze, everything is fine. So the wire is going to be ready later on when we have to plug it here. Next thing we're going to do, the outputs. So remember, we prepared some wires for the outputs, and we have here 4 different colors. This is just for very easy ID. We're going to place the first 4. So we pick them up in any order we want, like green, orange, gray, and brown. Okay? So green is going to come on the output 0. So for the output 0, we have it here. This is the one for the output 0. Number 1 is going to be orange. Next is going to be the gray, which is the number 2. But 3 is going to be somewhere here in the bottom, okay? So we're going to nicely make some room for it. Brown is going to be first here in the bottom because it's remaining alone. And we put back in the top the gray one. So we have our first outputs. Where are they going? They are going to go right here. This is going to be the place for the output 0, output 1, output 2, output 3. So we put them in the same order. We started with green. We're going to figure out if the wires are long enough, you see, to come right here. And the brown is going to be the last one. They are pretty okay. So we just have to cut the excess like that. This is why we didn't put the ferrules from the beginning. We do it now. So now we can easily remove the insulation. This time is a bit longer because we have to place ferrules here. Okay. As usual, we don't need whiskers. So these are going to be the appropriate ones, I think. Let me check. Yeah, they are just perfect. So we're going to put 4 ferrules right away. So this is why we split the wires in 2 groups, and both groups are going to use practically the same colors. This way is going to be very easy to identify if anything goes wrong, what wire is representing what output. Okay. Okay, one more. So that's the purpose of using ferrules. There are no whiskers around, so no chance for bad or additional contacts, unwanted ones. We cut the excess. I think we have one more. Yeah, somewhere here. Very good. So now, remember that output 0 is the green. This time we need a flat screwdriver. So we prepared the first 4 screws. So we need to make room for our new wires. It's done. So first one was the green. The green should come right here. Next should be the orange. It's gonna come right here. Next is the gray. It's going to come right here. So check them out. They don't have to come out. And the last one is gonna be the brown right here. Okay, we have the first 4 outputs wired, but we still have 4 more. We're going to do in the same, following the same pattern, in the same order. So we're going to have next output available is number 4. Is going to be the green again. So this is why there is no confusion, because this is the number 4 and the previous one wearing a green was number 0. This is far away. Okay. Next is going to be the orange. Orange comes here. Like this. Because we have one right here underneath, which is going to be the gray. Maybe better to place the gray before the other 2, because otherwise it's going to be difficult to get access right here in the bottom. Okay. So now we can here put in the top, back the orange, which was here, and the last output, which is numbered 7 on the PLC, is going to be the brown. Okay. Good. Same thing on the other side. We put them in parallel with the other ones, and we try to figure out if they are not by any chance too long. So if it is the case, we're going to cut the excess. Is only for 1. That's it. So now we can easily squeeze. After we strip them out, we're going to squeeze by using our crimping tool. So we have them almost ready. We need other 4 ferrules for that. Now is the time to crimp them one by one. So no whiskers allowed. That's exactly the size we need. And now this one here. Oh, one more to go. Very good. We take a look at them. If there is any excess, yeah, maybe just that one. The rest, we cut any excess we have. So now, the next 4 outputs in the same order is gonna be exactly like the pattern here. We don't even need to know the order of the outputs because we first place the green exactly like it was before. Next is gonna be the orange. So it's very easy to follow the pattern actually. So I said next would be the orange, and then the gray, the last one is going to be the brown, like this. And sorry, it didn't enter in the hole. Good. And finally, the common we were leaving alone to float somewhere, we can put it here on the screw number 16. Okay, so this is why we had to leave it at the end. So as you can see, all the ferrules, they are having an insulation in the top of them, so there is no way the wires can touch each other. So the outputs are connected.